Welcome to Moonlight Madness, and today we're reading for the star sign, the Sun, Moon and Rising for Air for 2022, and it's the end of January. So I've got quite interesting little reading. The first card I pulled was the Lovers card, and it talks about a choice between two potential partners. One you may still be involved with and share a home with, and one that is at a great distance from you. You may look at moving to a new home, or you may move to someone in a military background, or a police officer is around you. A choice is made with the heart and not the head. A 6 year involves choices and giving back to your community. For some, a proposal of marriage, powerful and has past life connections. A karmic you may have been separating from, drawing up divorce papers from, a fire sign, Leo, Sag or Aries. You currently share a home with. This fire sign may be the life of the party. They may sing, dance, act, draw, play music. A ton of fun to be with around and very attractive and flirtatious with whomever they meet. A true friend who can run a small company and still host a children's party. Some of you may have had a child around this time of the year and are celebrating that birth. The Ace of Cups, an opening, and this deck I'm using today is the Fairy Tarot deck by Doreen and Radleigh Valentine. And this is the opening of the heart chakra with the lotus and the dove, which is peace. So I would use crystal, a pink rose quartz crystal. I get these from Rainbow Runner to invoke the heart chakra to open. Or you may be giving spiritual gifts that have come out of enlightenment, I guess, and meditation practices, an opening of the third eye, I should say, or an awakening to your spiritual gifts. You may be falling in love with a fellow air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, who have had children as well and are divorced or separated or in a court battle over children's matters. One of these children may be a Scorpion with death in the crowning position. And the Death card also brings about change and transformation. So with the Death card, for example, I would be using a black obsidian to protect myself because it is a Scorpion energy. It is a Scorpion energy. Sorry about that. Okay, where was I? And it talks about recent past, 9 of Wands, getting an environmental activist around you. So there could be an environmentalist around you who's heavily involved in communities and charities that influenced you a great deal, and who may be advocates for protecting our animals, oceans and territories from extinction, and may bring awareness to these causes. That's my phone going off. Miguel, if you're watching this, please, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of doing a reading. I'll get it later, I'll call you back. Our animals, oceans and territories from extinction, and may bring awareness to these causes, and you may have had a very healthy immune system in the past. Death, an ending of the past, which talks about makes waiting new opportunities, the death of a relationship, trauma, grief, sadness, and a Scorpio possibly. It says that you left this union. Reincarnation, new opportunities, blocks you from your life. Once you finally heal, you'll attract new love. It says do not wait to take those first steps to change your life. Start making them today. So if you weren't made New Year's resolutions, look at fulfilling those New Year's resolutions, that you don't want to continue on this path and you do want to make a balanced choice with the right information that's going to be given to you. Then we have legal matters coming up in the future, possibly to do with moderation, self-restraint, merging viewpoints to create a superior opportunity, or open to a compromise. Could involve property, children, indicated by the 6 of Cups, which is this card here. And that's like looking back at past memories. You'll get a win-win situation where everyone is happy. Pause, reflect, and make the decision to turn to a place of peace Walk in nature to clear your head. Balance those male and female energies that we all possess within us. The Three of Swords is this card. It's to do with separation. It could do with an operation, heartbreak, grief, that will heal over time. Forgiving others and yourself. Being there for people needing your help. Reach out to embrace and compassion and forgive others who have gone through what you have been through. Two of Cups. That's to do with the Lover's card or romance. It can also be an offer, a proposal of marriage. And it's falling in love. It's making a serious commitment to someone, getting engaged. Forgiveness, an unexpected gift, an intimate friendship. Two hearts become one. True romance is safe to be in this union. It says work on your relationship if you choose to stay in a place of faith, if wanting to reconcile. Then you have, this is the other person that's around you, the choice to make, is the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is riding in her sleigh. She has the sun and the moon and the stars as her badge of honour, as her, symbol. And usually when I see that card, I pick up Leo energy. So she may have Leo in a chart. She may have a tiger, a Chinese tiger, as her Chinese horoscope. And it is the year of the tiger, 2022, which points about union. Again, 6222 is a 6 number. You've got 2 6s in the reading, which points to the giving back to society, helping communities, looking out for others, giving back without asking for payment. And so she could be a sun, moon or rising in Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. They are strong, patient, self-sufficient, funny, unmarried or divorced individuals, a wise person who practices good feng shui, a perfectionist, takes everything as a grain of salt. Amazing patience of a saint, can point you in the right direction with a flick of her wrist. An easy way about her, and can be hysterically funny. Vast and diverse experiences long ago released people if they were more drama than joy in their life. With and very intelligent, can put people in their place without them realising it. Children or childhood issues. Someone from your past could be returning, or memories from your past are returning, and perhaps they played out differently as you remembered them, because time and space is always affected by memory, and memory can be influenced by emotion. Emotion can influence memory. Old songs, revisiting people from past places, experiences from childhood that hold the key to your current circumstances and dilemma. Think back to how you handled things in your past. The other deck I'm using today is the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette-Baron-Reid, and the Enchanted Map by Colette-Baron-Reid. So I've got 2 of those. So I had a channeled message the other day about an ocean with a life raft on it. And the life raft contained my 2 small children when they were little. And one of them was very, very scared of water from a very early age. Had a bad experience with a swim teacher who was training him to swim. He was only 3, I think, at the time. And he was petrified. He was left to sit on the edge of the diving at the other end while she made him, learn to dive into the water. So it was for a good thing. She was trying to teach him how to swim. But it was her tone. And because he was so attached to me, he just wouldn't stop crying. He was sobbing. I couldn't control him. It was like he'd had a breakdown, pretty much, on the platform. And all I could think of was I've got to rescue him. So I ran up the other end and picked him up and said, "We're leaving. This is not how you train a child to swim. You do not traumatize a child." And she looked at me as if to say, with contempt, "But I'm a lifeguard and I'm fully trained." And I'm thinking, yeah, but that's my child, and you're hurting him, and he's traumatized by you. So I remember walking home with that thought, clear as a bell, and even as a baby, he hated the ocean. I think he's got past life memories of being petrified of water because he may have drowned in a past life. I just have this strong vision of that. His name's Christopher, which is Christ's carrier. So he's literally Christ's carrier across the water, and yet he's petrified of it. His emotions run deep, and I think he's very much, if he's emotional, then he can't cut it off. Very hard for him to disconnect, whereas I can disconnect. It's taken me many years to learn how to do this. I can shut off emotion or I can turn it on. It's a bit like a vampire. You know, they lose their humanity in the Vampire Diaries because Damon has the ability to shut it off or switch it back on again. I have that same thing. I can turn it off or turn it on. And so what it's talking about with this water is I'm trying to save him on this raft and I can't get to him. And I'm screaming out for him. I'm like, Christopher, 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 come to me, come to me. And then because I couldn't get him off the raft, I changed the vision, I changed the dream and put him inside a car where he could actually get away on ground. And so he's like, come on, Mum, let's get in the car. And so I've gone and followed him and I was running to catch up to his car. And then I got in the back seat and let him do the driving. And what that represents to me is that for too long now, I've let someone else handle my affairs. For too long now, I placed myself in someone else's care or lack of regard. And they've been the one driving my life wherever it was supposed to go. And I'm still allowing someone to try and drive or, steer my life in a direction I may not want to go in. So I was hesitant to get in that car because I didn't want someone else to be responsible for my choices or my life direction. And I pulled myself out of that dream because it was too painful. I couldn't be stuck in not knowing whether to go with or without, and I had to make the choice to move or whatever I had to do on my own. It had to be done on my own. And that's the path that we have to learn to walk sometimes. So we've got here, the first card is the 38. And this ties in with the balance card, to be fair. 38. I channeled that message from about 3 nights ago. It was not fun, but it made me, it alluded to the fact that I have to set my alarm for, 4 in the morning, 4:45, because that's when my visions are strongest. I rarely wake up at 3. That's not a thing I do. It's usually 4. Balance, justice, and need to consider options of mutual benefit, the law of cause and effect. Life offers experiences that are challenging and experiences that are nourishing, yet over time they strike a balance. You move from being from a stasis to doing, from discovering, to loving, to letting go, to being again. Life is a pendulum swinging between all of those states. We will always oscillate back and forth between doing and being. If you're not content where you are at this moment, remember that all experiences have their place. Accept them without judgment, and you'll see how the universe adjusts in perfect balance. You reap what you sow. For every cause there is an effect. Wondrous things will be revealed to you right now. In relationships, the message is, can you find a way to achieve fairness right now? This is a time for listening as well as speaking, for understanding as well as asking to be understood. There is much to be learned, and you will learn it if you remain open and objective, weighing options and considering all sides. Your heart wants to connect to others, so allow for a balanced exchange of ideas and actions. The best kind of relationship is one in which there is mutual benefit between each party and they all feel heard, valued and respected. Be fair to all. Now is a time for even exchanges. Justice will prevail and you'll be treated accordingly. In all your affairs, you'll be able to negotiate a fair settlement. Mutual gain is the gift to you and your partners and colleagues. This is also a good time to square your finances and take stock of how you're compensated for your work. This card signifies balance and justice. And it talks about your work, your compensation. Keep this as your truth and so it will be. That's a really powerful card. And you've got time to go. Just a good card. 45. And this is where I was walking yesterday, down near the bridge in Maryville. And I always walk across it because it's got these beautiful little fairy wren birds that fly around there. And they're so quick, and they're so tiny, and they're just beautiful. I just get a lot of enjoyment watching them under that bridge. And all the water around me is beautiful. Time to go, 45. Endings, completion, walking away from something because there is nothing else to learn or experience. You're at the end of one journey and have not yet begun the next. This is the moment to bless your experience so far. Take stock of what you have learned. It's time to move on to new experiences and a new way of being. There is nothing left for you to do, be, or experience in this present circumstance. Take the risk and move on, even if you need to be in transition for a time, which I was when I was homeless. And it made you appreciate the smallest things. But it also made you realise that homeless people are more honest than the people that are living in housing. Your destiny is calling you. It's over, or at least this form of a relationship is no longer of service to you or the other person. This is a time of letting go, of knowing that the journey has come to its conclusion. That doesn't mean anything is lost, although the card could speak to a breakup, drifting apart, or the end of a soul contract. It is more than release than destruction. Remember the saying, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. If not, it never was. Endings are always a sign of new beginnings. If you want something deeper, walk away. The message is clear. The path that you've been on with your work, creative projects, business alliances has come to an end. You will not find the success you desire by continuing with what is in front of you. This is an auspicious sign because there is no choice that will benefit you other than risking stepping into the unknown. There's nothing more exhilarating than not know where you're going. If you're driving somewhere and you decide to take a different path, or you walk home a different way and you land somewhere else, and you're like, I've learnt a different way to get to and from. And so that makes it more interesting, more exciting, more enjoyable. There's always facets in a relationship where you're discovering new and hidden things about your partner. And whether you like them, whether they are good or bad, you're discovering something within yourself that you dislike in yourself if you dislike it in others. So it's saying here, this card pertains to a more neutral concept of completion. You've finished your task. You can rest assured that this ending will open up a powerful new avenue of opportunity, even better than you can imagine. You've done all you can. Now trust that spirit keeps the plan moving forward. Fortune requires you to conclude this chapter of your life. And remember that when you close one door, another one opens. There's many doors that lead to Rome, and many doors that lead to understanding, just as there's many religions and many practices out there that all lead to the one thing, which is basically do no harm, be kind to others. Interesting. I pulled out 2 cards, but maybe each their own. I've got here, again, confirmation, law of attraction, commitment. And then I've got dry desert. So 36. Courage. It is courage to do that, I guess. Commitment. I've got the wrong book. Okay. Maybe you need courage to do this next step with your partner, with the person or the object of your love and desire is commitment. A true commitment is a responsibility of the heart, mind, body and soul. This is a good time to take one. Partnerships formed at this time are harmonious and powerful. The commitment also indicates the natural evolution of a relationship, with its inception to a literal or metaphorical marriage. At the very least, there is a promise of fulfillment in some form. However, you must be conscious of what you're committing to. Be clear about the nature of your commitment and your responsibility to it. Others are more willing to enter into partnerships at this time. Remember that your partnership with spirit and the highest version of your own self will engage the highest self in another. So, in order to be at your highest self, you need to be healed, fully healed, before you enter into a new relationship. You can't rebound. That's not a good idea. It's saying, if you have someone that you're really interested in and they're interested in you, allow that person to fully heal. Even if it is another 6 weeks or 6 months. 6 of Cups, meaning that's time frame you may have. Because maybe that extra 6 weeks or 6 months will make such a massive difference to how you conduct yourself in the next relationship, rather than trying to replace it, the hole in your heart. That's what I've learned. $31. Dry desert. Dig deep for inspiration and truth. Now is the time to be resilient, adaptable. Is your life presenting you with opportunities that seem to yield nothing? Have your ideas dried up? Does it feel like you're on an endless journey through a dry, hot, lifeless desert? This card reminds you that there are times when you're meant to become resilient as you journey through harsher circumstances. You're being required to conserve your energy until, after consistent effort, you reach the oasis you've been searching for. Consider the creatures that live in the desert. In spite of lack of water, they can be found deep underground. Go deep within yourself now. Find your truth there. Let spirit sustain you while you locate the real source. Whatever it is you're asking about will not be found in these conditions you're in until you move past the surface of things and choose to do the real work and discover the answers deep within you. You may not seem like the most productive time, but looks are deceiving. This is the most important place to find what's truly right for you. Sometimes you have to leave a situation in order to figure out what you were there to learn, what lessons you were there to learn from that experience, rather than staying with that place, person, or thing. And maybe they had something to learn from you. Your counterpart had something to learn. Fairy Oracle. You can't walk the same path twice. I read somewhere. This is the Fairy Oracle. Wild Wisdom Guidebook by Lucy Cavendish. That came out straight away. Oh, Carry Me Home. It's a really nice card. I really like the artwork on these ones because they've just got really pretty pictures. And the people that draw them is artwork by Selena, Fenech. I didn't think I'd pull this, but okay. Acorn's Initiation. Support time to be carried. Allow others to help. There's a real trust when you look at this card between him and her. The bliss on her face and the relaxation flows through her etheric body. And see how strong he is, how he loves her, how he welcomes this time when he can carry her a little further on their paths. He welcomes this. There is no resentment, no pain, and nothing to owe for the gift being given. It's now time for you to allow yourself to carry you for a time, to give to you and support you on your way home, to take this time to lift you up and move you forward. Because there are times in our lives when we are tired, but we are still happy, and even happier still if someone can let us rest and carry us forward in that happy yet exhausted place where we have done good work and fulfilled our commitments to ourselves and others. You can finally allow yourself to accept the support of someone who truly wants to lean on them. When we truly learn to surrender to what is, support it in many forms will come, and what is happening for you now. Just as the beautiful fairyman is carrying home his blissfully exhausted fairy woman, who's locked in a romantic embrace with him, it is time for you to surrender and allow someone else to partner you through what is taking place. Not only is there support, there is giving in allowing this to take place. Allow someone to give to you their strength, their support, their energy and their courage at this time. Allow yourself to feel the bliss of trust and fall into the dance of receiving and giving. Because when you allow support to be given into you this way, you open yourself to even deeper love, gifts between man and woman, because this is the sacred dance and there is no weakness in it, only beauty, exchange and surrender. True love is a dance of giving and receiving, and this time it is your turn to receive, to be carried and to be supported. So expect someone to make your concerns their concerns. Feel and know the love of the fairy through intense love of another, which is always peaceful and soothing to the soul. Feel their strength and love and feel the sweetness of allowing their support. Close embrace, delicious submission to love. And the card, this is a beautiful card, talks about energy work, touch, energy connection. So touch can be very healing. And when you do energy work, like I did massage, beauty therapy, and it is massaging the face as well as the upper body, under the arms, or things like that. It's a form of love, it's a form of touch, and we crave it. We don't even realise we crave it as human beings, but if we don't have touch, we get very sad. And a touch is something, it doesn't have to be in a sexual way, it can be just as a hug, or just someone to hold your hand, or to touch you in a supportive way. It's not trying to take anything, it's just supportive. This card represents a beautiful man, physically appealing, earthy in nature, well in body, healthy in his appetite, or could be sexual appetite, who has a strong association with the archetype of Robin Hood, or Robin Goodfellow. He has something of the fawn or satyr or Pan about him, and while he's a man, maybe he's Peter Pan syndrome, maybe he is a man but acts like a child, or maybe he's just younger than you, and he is a young man. A unique aspect of the fairy is that it honours both the goddess and the god. Fairies teach us to be vital, to be healthy, and that part of this is to glory in our physical selves and our physical desires. This fairyman is not taking or talking about a kind of base physical gratification, a filling up of a void, an appetite. He's speaking of true communal healing love. As his fingers caress the earth, he respects and loves the woman, the feminine, the mother, the crone, the maiden, if you happen to be older. He reminds us that when we touch something, we are in communion with it. We are at one with it. Touch is an energy communion and an exchange between two or more people or beings. No one can touch and be left unchanged. When we touch with fairy fingers, super sensitive and fully aware and conscious, we experience the sublime and make better choices about who we touch and who touches us and why. Massage, earthy sensuality, touch therapies, lovemaking. It's all about this card. It's an exchange of energy, and people don't realise is that when you are intimate with that person, you will carry their energy in your aura, in your field, and so you'll think about them, they'll walk through the door, or they'll think about you, you arrive, or they phone you. It's an aura. My son was trying to reach me because this time of the day is normally when we connect. But he's away at the moment, so he chose to connect at the time we usually do. So again, I'm sorry. I'll get back to him. And that's all I have for today. This is the reading for air sign, sun, moon, and rising.